folks, this session will be recorded. And so we will be sharing it on Grow's YouTube page once we have finished it and edited up. So just be on the lookout for that. And I will also be sending out a link directly to that. And so just keep an eye on your emails. We'll be following up with some resources and also the link to the recording for that. So my name is Rosie Orkanyan, and I'm the program and volunteer coordinator here at Grow. And we're so excited that you're here today, and very excited to have Alicia Marie Belchak with us. Alicia Marie is a sought after speaker and award-winning journalist who offers transformational workshops to organizations across the country. She is a certified life mastery consultant who leverages a dynamic, evocative process that empowers high-performance individuals, change agents, entrepreneurs, leaders, and their teams to break through limitations in order to accelerate the results and achieve even more than they thought possible. So I think that's the best motivation I can give, I think, and the best intro for all the information that I know you're going to share with us today. So again, Alicia Marie, thank you for being here. And for those of you who are joining us as well, we're glad you're here.
Well, Rosie, thank you so much. That was a wonderful introduction. And I want to just say that I'm really happy and grateful and thrilled to be here with you and everyone. And if you're joining us live, I want to give you applause. This is one way we can do applause on camera. If you're brave enough to be on camera, this is an interactive workshop. So I want you to get the very most out of this for your time. You showed up, so let's put a lot of energy into this, because one thing I know about the people who show up now live is that you are a person who shows up, and you are a person who makes decisions for your dreams and decisions for making transformational change in your life. And if you're watching on replay, I know that you are a person that shows up too, and you have your calendar to manage and your schedule. And please play along, play full out. So if you're willing to play full out, go ahead, put something in the comments, in the chat, or wave at me or something like that. I can see all of you right now, because I have been working with Rosie for some time, and it's been a kind of a big deal to get to this point where we have a really wonderful topic and conversation to have today. So again, it is an interactive workshop, so please, I'm going to be asking you to play along. And if that's okay with you, we'll have a lot of fun and learn some stuff. So I'm sharing my screen. Does that sound good? Look good? All right. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you to Rosie, to Grow, for hosting this, for putting this together. And this is a really powerful topic. The idea that we have a why, we can harness it, and we can use the power of vision to turn that into something even more. So what I hope to gain with you today is the ability to dive deep into some of this so you can really unlock your why, your what, and your how. There we go. So, like I said, this is an interactive workshop. So I'm going to get to know a little bit about you so I can really, as I go, tailor what we're talking about today. So if you could put in the comment where you are at in your entrepreneurial journey, that would really help me a lot. Are you brand new, just have an idea, you've got started, maybe you've got a business plan, you've been working with Grow for a little bit, maybe another agency. Kind of just give me an idea, and Rosie can kind of give me a hint of where we're at. And I'll just briefly tell you that I've been on an entrepreneurial journey myself pretty much my entire life. I've been one of those people that's always had a side hustle. Maybe you're a side hustler too. And I remember being in high school and I was the kid working with my dad on the rental property or mowing the lawn or babysitting. I had a job at 15. Yeah, 15. And then I just never stopped working. And when I was first married, I was doing a full-time job. I was playing around with multi-level marketing and party light because I love smelly things and pretty things. So I had a little business going, and I was doing my freelance journalism because I have a master's degree in journalism from Columbia University. but I also have an environmental science degree from right here in town, Aquinas College. So I was using both of those things. And let me tell you what, the biggest lesson I've ever learned in sales came from working in my party light business. And I applied it really well to what I was doing in the environmental world, to get people to talk, to get people to show up for themselves. And now I'm an entrepreneur full time doing speaking, coaching, consulting. And when you're on the entrepreneurial journey, there's a lot of things that change and life gets a little, shall we say, hectic. So on your life scale, where are you at? We're going to talk a little bit about that today too. So Rosie, where are we at? I don't have the chat in front of me.
That's okay. I have it right here. Jamie is with us, and Jamie started their business in October and still growing it. And then we have Cami with us as well. And Cami has a growing embodied soul care practice. Recently dropped into clarity of purpose. I have been a part of Grow on and off for 5 years. Well,
Awesome.
we are certainly glad you both are here.
And that's, just both of those stories show that there's a journey to be on. So thank you for being here and being willing to play full out, because that's what my intention is, to play full out for you today so that you can really unlock the power of vision, so you can harness your why, your what, and how, as we talked about. We're going to spend some time evaluating and defining what does full spectrum success look like for you, not for your neighbor, not for the person across the street, not for the multimillionaire that you're aspiring to be, but for you right now. And we're going to design some of your ideal work-life balance so that it creates alignment in your life. Because one of the things Rosie and I were talking about as we were designing this presentation was how much entrepreneurial work can keep us on a hamster wheel. So let's not do that, because we have so much more to offer, right? And we're going to talk about the number one factor that can cause you to lose your steam towards your dream, and how to really stay motivated and energized while you're working on your entrepreneurial dream and having a full spectrum success. And you're going to learn some transformational tools along the way that will help you to have greater clarity and confidence, making those decisions, taking those actions, while you're reducing the fear, doubt, and worry that inevitably shows up, right? Sound good to you? Give me a little nod. There you go. Like it, Cami. Thank you. So raise your hand if you have some area of your life that you know right now you would like to improve, right? And if you're watching on the replay, raise your hand too. In the room, nobody's watching. Why this matters to you is because you're breathing. Every one of us has a life, and we have a place we are now and a place we'd love to be. And as long as we're breathing, we probably have something we'd like to improve. So, have you ever felt like this? What does an entrepreneur life in balance look like? Sometimes, especially when I was doing the side hustle thing all the time, you spend a lot of your hours doing a lot of the busy work and the business. You wear all the hats if you're a solopreneur, right? And things get out of whack. And that can happen when we have a regular job and then we're trying to do our new business on the side to grow it, to eventually replace it. And what happens? We have other aspects of our life to take care of. And it's, feels like a little chaotic. So I would love it if you could shift from thinking work-life balance to a life in balance, because it's not about work or life, in my opinion. It's about work being a part of our life. And we have these other areas that we're going to define for ourselves of what full spectrum life looks like so that we can be in balance. And if you really think about it, it's a beautiful kaleidoscope, ever-changing, messy picture that we're creating. And the wonderful thing is you are the person in charge of what that kaleidoscope might look like. We don't have control over all of the pieces, but we can turn the dial and we can change the picture, and we can change the picture, and we can create a full spectrum life that includes our entrepreneurial work and the other aspects of our life. So that's my dream for you. And that's my promise to you, is that in this short time we have together, I will give you everything that I can to help you really develop and create that full spectrum vision for yourself. Because that was my story. That was my journey. And I spent a long time feeling lost, feeling stuck, feeling like I was floundering, doing all the things, and not really having a lot of success in the ways that mattered most to me. And heck, for a while, I didn't even know what mattered most to me. And part of my story that I don't always share, but it is a very pivotal portion of my life, is that my mom, who was, it turned out, a mentor in my life, and I didn't know I needed one, but she had been that person. She passed away when I was 25, 10 days after my wedding. And it kind of set up this trajectory of life that was completely different. So I was very busy doing all the things. And meanwhile, I had lost my support system and I didn't even realize it. And I just felt lost, like this light switch had switched. The world that was full of opportunity and possibility had flipped. And now I was feeling lost, maybe more anxious, definitely grieving. I didn't even know who I was anymore. And I spent the next 15 years making decisions out of that place as I kind of crawled my way out. And now today, I do the work that I do, my why, because I realized I really needed someone in my life who could have said, whoa, let's stop. Let's think strategically. Let's grieve. Let's play full out, feel the feelings, and make some decisions from a place of alignment. If you remember this picture where things are in alignment is what we're going for. So that's why I'm on a mission now to help entrepreneurs, change agents, leaders, dream builders to really understand themselves, their world, and their role in it so they can make the biggest impact and the most difference. So that's my promise to you, because I believe your why matters. Why you're on this planet Earth, why you've been called to do an entrepreneurial journey, why you're even like thinking the things you're thinking and having ideas the way you're having ideas. So Simon Sinek came up with the golden circle, which is what you see here. The golden circle that shows working from our communication strategies in our businesses, from the why to the how to the what. And a lot of places, Simon will talk about move from the outside in. So that's one way to think about our business and our marketing strategy. And I think, and I believe, it also applies to us individually. When we work from the inside out first, we will be able to make greater ripples in our life, greater impact in those around us that we care about, and in the world at large. So your how is your process of how you do that. And it can change. If your why is to help moms become the best parents they can while feeling good about themselves, how you do that might be teaching a class, helping with mindfulness, helping moms with parenting strategies. There's lots of hows. And the what is the end result, right? The end result in your life shows up in the way that you have your business structured, how successful you are in your bank account or in your relationships or in your own self-care. All these different ways is the end result. That's the what. So as an individual, you really want to be coming from the inside out. I spent way too long in those dark years after my mom passed and I was looking for my way out and up. What I really wanted was, who am I and why? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And why does it matter to me? And this is your number one strategy for keeping yourself motivated, energized, and feeling really good about the decisions you're making as you're going through your entrepreneurial journey or your life journey as a whole. Life mastery is a process. And as we go through the process, we're going to fall down. We're going to have steps that don't work. And coming back to that why is going to matter. So take a minute right now or 30 seconds and just think to yourself and put it on paper if you can. Why? Why did you choose to be an entrepreneur? Why are you doing the work you're doing? And there's going to be different layers. There's the layer of I'm doing it because I want to make a difference in moms' lives. And there's going to be another layer. I'm doing it because I want to be able to make income. Why do I want to make income? I have a family that I care about. There's a why. I want to take the trip to Europe or Hawaii. There's a why. So think about that. What really matters to you? And again, I'm just using these examples, but if you're brave enough, I would love to hear. Does anyone want to share? What matters to you? What's your why? Your purpose? Oops. So this is the goal. I love, since we got a little finding your why, harnessing your why theme, Simon Sinek says this: working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion. So we want to have that idea of stress versus success. We might be stressed out on our way, but when we really love what we're doing and when we really can go back to that why and we love that why, then it makes it a lot easier to get through the tough stuff. Sound reasonable, everybody on board? So let me ask you this. How many of you have ever really gone after a dream? You're going after one now, or a goal. How many of you have done that? Go ahead and raise your hand, type yes in the chat. I know I have. And how many of you thought, oh my gosh, I'm never going to run that 5K, but then you did it anyway? Or I didn't know I had it in me to take care of 3 kids when I wasn't expecting to. You know, what is it for you? Maybe just being able to work with, grow, and show up for your business. You're already achieving steps and achieving goals. So think about that. And the reason we want to think about that is because we need to understand that you are capable of far more than you know. Even when it's hard, even when you feel stuck, you're actually capable of a lot more. So maybe you felt like this guy, a little surprised by how much you actually could accomplish when you accomplished it. And that is an important lesson to really realize that the life you would love living, that includes your business, that includes all the other aspects of your life, all these goals and dreams and desires are often born out of the challenges that we face. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling like I don't know what the next step is, I don't have clarity, I don't know what life in balance feels like or a full spectrum life, that's okay. This is the place we begin with your challenge, because there are challenges ahead. We all know that. So let's do a little life assessment in this moment. If you have your piece of paper in front of you, go ahead and think about the areas of life that are most challenging to you. Maybe it's your business. Maybe it's balancing time and money. Maybe it's how do I juggle the schedule so that I have time to focus on my business while the kids are doing what they're doing, or supporting my spouse or my significant other. I don't know what it is for you, but think about that and just write down, what are some of the challenges showing up for you today? This matters to you because out of these challenges, you are going to find goals, dreams, desires, and solutions. So once you get a couple of those written down, go ahead and just circle the one that looks like the most impossible, the most challenging. And we're going to pick up on that again in a little bit. But it's important to notice where we're having challenges, because there are two signs and signals for growth. And as we all know, grow helps you grow your business. And in the process of growing your business, you are going to grow. So what are those signs and signals that are actually calling us to growth? They might feel like being stuck, or they might feel like impossible. I don't know my way out. What are the steps? But if you can learn to listen to these two signals, you will have come a long way. And that first one is longing. Maybe you're longing for the trip to Hawaii, or the more time, freedom, leaving the regular job and being your own boss. What is it for you you're longing? And the second signal is discontent. This can show up as frustration. It can show up as the places where you feel the most constraint. You know, that place that gets aggravated every time you have to go deal with it? Maybe it's your bank account. Maybe it's the no time in my calendar. Maybe it is, gosh, I really wish I had a better place, you know, my dream kitchen. I wish I had the funds for the trip that I would like, or more for my advertising budget, or whatever it is. But notice it. Where is your longing? Where is your discontent? Because we're in this spiral of life. And your business is going to feel like this too. We're going to make progress, and then it feels like we're not going anywhere. And you can either be moving up or down the spiral of life. And if we think about the different categories that are inside this spiral of life, this multicolored kaleidoscope we're creating, we can break it down. One way to break it down would be in 4 different categories. And this is a very important one. I always start with health and well-being, because if you do not feel good, if you don't have the energy, if you don't have the health to enjoy your success, is it really worth it? So we have results, right? The what is being created. Even now, if we have the privilege to live, breathe another 365 days, you absolutely will have results in your health and well-being. Will they be ones that you love? Oops. Then we have the area of relationships. You have relationships with colleagues, coworkers, clients, and you have relationships with your significant other, your children, your community, your neighbors, your church. We have lots of relationships. Are they living up to your own standards, or what you would really love? And as we think about these things, we're going to go through a little, pick up that challenge idea and do a little life assessment further here in a second. We have the area of vocation. This one you're probably very familiar with. You're working on your business. You're working on the steps that's required. You're working on bringing your ideas into the world. But vocation doesn't have to only be about money. It could be how you are volunteering. Where are you showing up and providing your talents, your skills, your knowledge? Are you completely satisfied? And then we have time and money freedom. We lump these together for purposes of really thinking about that last word, freedom. We all want more independence and autonomy in the ways that matter most to us. And that usually comes down to our most precious commodity, which is time. And then along with that is money, right? So how satisfied are you in your money and your time, and how you're spending your time, and who you're spending your time with? Are the things that matter most to you on your calendar, or are you putting them off in order to do your work, or to make your extra clients happy, or if you're still working your 9-to-5 job to make your boss happy, and then coming home and working those extra hours on your business? How are you spending your time, and is it resulting in the money freedom that you would really love? We're all going to put in our time and effort somewhere. So as you think about these things real quickly, give yourself a rating right now in health and well-being on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being really low, really terrible, and 5 being amazing and awesome. Where would you say you are with your health and well-being? This is part of your life assessment. So once you give yourself a number in health and well-being, go ahead and give yourself a rating from 1 to 5 in your area of relationships. And go ahead and do the same thing in your vocation. How are you feeling? Where's your satisfaction tank right now? And then in your time and money freedom. Sometimes I put those two subcategories when I do my life assessment. I might be happy with my time, but not my money, or something like that. And then go ahead and write down under each of these categories, what is it costing you? What is that number representing? What is it costing you to have the current level of health and well-being that you have? Maybe it is costing you the energy to put in those extra hours, or to have fun running with your family, enjoying the outdoors or the things you really love, biking, hiking, swimming. I don't know what it is for you, but what is it that you would really love? Same thing with your relationships. What is it costing you right now? Is it costing you feeling lonely or disconnected? Is it costing you feeling like you have to do everything all by yourself? You don't have support? Maybe you're fine in your relationships and health and you don't need to worry about it. What is it costing you in your vocation to not be living into your talents and your skills and your dreams? Just write a few bullet points down. What is it costing in your time and money freedom? Is it costing you the memories that you could be making? Is it costing you the life that's a world traveler, or being able to sit in your backyard, having your garden or your jacuzzi or whatever it is you would love? And then I want you to raise your hand and stretch and give yourself a pat on the back. Because that's tough work, looking at that it's costing you something to be at where you're at. And not everybody does that. I said at the beginning, you're a person who shows up, and I meant it. You're showing up for yourself in ways that 90% of the world doesn't bother to do at this level.
Alicia Marie, I have to share a comment we got in the chat from Cami. She says, I love that you ask, why am I an entrepreneur? I have never asked why I am doing this as a business owner and not an employee. What a great question.
Excellent. And then I would invite you to spend some time with that thought, because underneath each of these areas of your category of your life is a why. And if you can tap into that deeper part of you, why do you really want health? So that I can serve my dream of entrepreneurship, of the business I would love, and I can have fun with my kids. I can wake up vibrant and full of life and not achy and wishing I could go back to bed. There was a time in my life where every day was like that, where I just wanted to go back to bed and wondered, why am I awake? Why bother? And if you've ever had thoughts like that, pay attention. That's your discontent showing up. So same thing with relationships and all the other things. So thank you for sharing that, Cami. I really appreciate that feedback. And that was a very good insight, because that leads to something else. And this idea that we all have results and we have this thing called the results formula. For some of you, this is going to be very brand new. And for some of you, this is going to sound familiar. Either way, I invite you to put on a beginner's mindset and really just open yourself up to the possibility there's something new or deeper for you to learn and hear here. So what is the cause of our results? That outside circle that we talked about, the what leads to that? First, we're thinking something. Maybe we didn't bother to think deeper about why am I doing what I'm doing, and I spent 15 years just doing things. Oh, I'll try that. I'll try that. Shiny object system, right? Right syndrome. Like just do. And I ended up doing all over myself to the point where I actually had my brain stop working. I went through 6 weeks of pea soup. Anyone who knows how thick pea soup can get, that's what the world was like for me in the spring of 2016. I could not think. I had to ask people to stop and slow down and repeat themselves, because I could hear the words, but it wasn't like something I could answer. And that felt like really bad. I felt so stupid. And all of a sudden, all this energy that I used to have just disappeared. Well, I'd been doing too many things. And why? Because I wasn't paying attention to what I was thinking. I wasn't noticing my longing and discontent. I just kept looking for answers by doing more. That is a good way to not live life in balance. So that creates feelings. We might be thinking about my mom, for instance. I might think about my mom, and all of a sudden I feel sad. Try this on. Imagine for a second you have the thought, oh my gosh, where's my wallet? How do you feel when you think that thought? Maybe you feel scared. Maybe you feel anxious. Maybe you feel really panicky. And then you think the thought, oh, wait, I know. That's right. It's in my bag. It's in my purse. It's in my drawer, my pants pocket, right? Oh, okay, you feel it. No, there it is. It's safe. Now you're thinking, I know where my wallet is. How do you feel now? You feel more relaxed. Maybe you feel more secure. You feel more calm, confident. I know that's an interesting way. We have thousands of thoughts every day that we're not even aware of. This is why talking to ourselves matters, and why knowing what our why is matters. Because when we're thinking thoughts that are not in alignment with who we really are, we're going to have yucky feelings. So let's get back to what would we really love and who are we really, so we can make better decisions. Because out of our feelings, we actually do take action. It might be inaction. It might be, I'm going to sit on the couch and not get anything done today. We've all had days like that. We may have even had a year like that recently, right? We might be like, oh, I'm not going to watch the world, or I'm going to watch the news, and then I'm full of fear and anxiousness. And there's supply shortages. Why am I even trying to do my business? And then you don't pick up the phone. Some of it's subconscious and some of it might be conscious, but you're taking action. Even an action to not do something is an action, right? And then out of that comes a result. So, do we love our results? The what layer. But first we have to go all the way back to the why. Because those are the causes. Are we coming from our place of why? Why does this really matter to me? Why am I putting in the extra effort? Why is it worth getting up off the couch? Why is it worth getting up an hour early to go for that walk, or to make those phone calls, or clear my thoughts and write in my journal? I don't know what it is for you, but they have things. Most people go the other way. They look at their results. I don't like my job. I don't like my boss. I don't like my spouse. I don't like my yelling at my kids all the time. I don't feel in control. I don't feel like I like my life. I feel like I'm just anxious and stressed all the time. So I can't make a change. I can't go on that trip. I don't have the money. Where in your life are you thinking things like that? I can't write my business plan because I just don't have the time. Well, most people are too smart to call it their cause. They call it their be causes. So we're going to start paying attention. We can be cause all the time over things that aren't going to stop us from doing the thing that eventually gets us where we really want to go. So just to reiterate, because again, it can be kind of tricky. Most of us get hung up here, and I certainly did. What do you mean it's my thoughts? I have to take responsibility. I'm not even in control of those. It's very true. Sad things have happened in my life. It's very true. I've lost jobs. It's very true. I'm not in control of the people around me. And I feel like I should be. And then I feel like I'm upset or stressed. These are my stories. Think about what's your story. Because in the end, your results never lie. So if your what is not matching what you would love, let's start thinking about why. So I have 3 dream building principles that I'm certified by the Life Mastery Institute to teach. And this is where I got my certification for coaching. And I really would love to give these to you because I think they're going to help you as an entrepreneur building your dream of not just your business you would love, but a full spectrum life that you would love. starting with that why. You've done the hard work of having the life assessment just now, and now we get to have a little bit of fun. Does that sound okay with you? If it does, give me some wiggles, some hands, some yeses in the chat. Yay, Cammie, thank you, Brooklyn. All right, good. Whew, we did the hard job. So now we can have some fun and design that dream entrepreneurial life in balance, full spectrum kaleidoscope that you would really love. Because as Simon Sinek says, success is when reality catches up with your imagination. So think about that for a minute. Imagine what you would really want. What do you really want in your health and well-being? What do you really want in your relationships? This goes back to that why. Why do you want to live a life that is deeply satisfying? What does that look like? What do you really want your business to look like, or your career? What would you really like your time to be spent like? How free do you want to feel in your bank account? Because again, that's a feeling. We can create that now. This is very important, because the more we create the picture in our mind of what we would really love and get crystal clear, this is why we do visioning. This is why we do, business planning, where not just what's possible or what we think could be done, but really what would be the dream. Whoops. Clarity is power. Write that down. Clarity is power. And your vision gives you clarity. Your vision that aligns with your why will help you bridge the gap from your inside out to your outside results. So let's go back to our spiral of life for a second and really spend time. Again, the principle here is to build a dream. What would I love in my life? What would you love in your health? Wake up vibrant, feel good, enjoy that cup of coffee, head out the door, give your sweetie a kiss. You come home at night, or you come out of your home office and they're ready with dinner. Your clients you love, your products you're delivering. What would you really love? You wake up and you know your calendar is full, but just enough so you're not feeling too stressed. And there's breathing room. Imagine I have time on my calendar for that trip, for that birthday party, for that anniversary, for date night, for one-on-one time with the people who matter most to me, for the volunteering and the giving back I would love to do. And there's always enough money, and I feel good about paying my bills. I don't know what that dollar amount looks like for you, but what would it look like? What would you love? And that is a question, not just what is possible, what would I think I could do, but what would I love? So I have a time machine. And if you're willing to spend a little time, no pun intended, with me, we're going to imagine jumping in to our time machine. And we're going to spend time traveling into the future. 3 years into the future. What would that make it? 2024? What would 2024 look like if all the things in your full spectrum life were to be realized? And it's going to be absolutely possible. We're going to wave the magic wand to say that it can happen and that you're guaranteed success. And you don't have to know the how, where this is one of those times we're going to put the how on hold. And we're going to jump in the time machine. Are you willing to jump in the time machine with me? Give me some chat. Yes. There we go. Thank you. All right. I see you guys. Take 2 minutes. And yes, it's going to feel awkward because there's going to be no silence, but you're going to go, there's going to be no music, excuse me, there's going to be silence. Go ahead and spend 2 minutes jumping in this time machine with me, and bam, it's 2024. It all worked out. Everything is possible in your full spectrum life. Start by saying, I am so happy and grateful now that, and then write what that picture looks like in all those areas. Okay? I'm going to set a timer, and you can go ahead and get started. 2024. About 30 seconds. So go ahead and finish up the area you're in. What does it really feel like to be in this life? In your health, in your relationships, in your vocation, in your time and money. About 10 seconds. Well, all right. Whew, big breath. How did that feel? 2024 is absolutely coming, and you have an amazing dream in front of you. So bring that energy right back here into 2021 and take a good pat on the back. You did a good job. So that takes us to dream building principle number 2. You have this dream life, this potential baby seed that you're planting, and you have time to spread out and grow and develop it in different areas. Please feel free to take time. This is just the beginning. But there's an important thing we need to do now, and that is help you decide for your dream. So go ahead and try to read this. Is anyone having trouble? Isn't that amazing? It's a word jumble, isn't it? So who would love to raise their hand, go on mic, and share reading this, if you're brave enough? Oops, sorry about that. Anyone brave enough to read?
I'll do it.
Yay, Cammie, thank you.
According to research at Stanford University, it doesn't matter what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be in the right place. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole.
Awesome. Everybody give her a little round of applause here with your hands. Thumbs up. Thank you, Cammie. That was very brave of you, and good job reading that. So amazing how our mind can connect the dots. And it's very fascinating to me that they've done this research that not only when we look at the words, but when we go to work on solving problems in our life or looking at big picture stuff, we don't have to know all the steps in between. This is where we get lost in that how kind of ring. How do we get to our relationship that we'd love while balancing our job and our business and our calendar and our fill in the blank, right? We get overwhelmed. I don't know all the steps. We get confused. Remember what we said a minute ago? Clarity is power. Going back to your why. And now you have a whole nother level of why, not just why am I starting this? Why am I doing this thing? And what's going to motivate me past the fear, doubt, and worry, past the stress. And it's your vision, reconnecting to your vision. We're going to talk a little more about that in a minute. But in the meantime, let's take action. We don't have to know how. We just have to know where we are now, which you've done, and where we're going, which is what you're creating with your vision. So Bob Proctor, who many of you know, is a well-known, long-time personal development guru. He says this very important thing. There's a single mental move you can make, which in a millisecond, think about how fast that is, will solve your enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you will ever encounter. And it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. We have a name for this magic mental activity. Any guesses? It's called a decision. So here on your piece of paper in front of you is a possible future. One that you could really breathe into and love. You're pouring your soul, your heart, your mind, and what you would really love into it. And it will only ever stay on that paper if you do not make a decision for it. If you do not decide, I'm going to embrace the kaleidoscope of my life, it will just stay a dream. If you do not decide, I am an entrepreneur that can live a life in balance, then you will always feel out of balance. You have to decide. So I want to tell you a very short story about Judy. Judy sat in a chair, probably not at home, much like you though, at a webinar or a class like this. Judy's a real person, and I've had the privilege of hearing her story many times. And what impressed me the most about her story is that she applied these dream building principles in order to radically change her life and to do it in a way that is a full spectrum life. See, Judy was struggling. She was a single mom. She had 2 kids. She lived in a little apartment she could barely afford. She was working 2 jobs to make ends meet. And she was a really great seamstress and loved it and was doing a little side hustle with that on the side. So she had these entrepreneurial wishes, but they just remained wishes because she was so busy working her other jobs, putting food on the table, making sure the kids got to school and all the things they needed. And what she really longed for, what she really loved, would be to have a better place for them to live. She had a dream. And she got some support. She got a coach and she got some people together that could believe in her. And they helped her one by one, little by little, dream up a dream and start to believe that it was possible. She would love a house with a little picket fence, 2 bedrooms for one for each kid and one for herself. So I guess 3. 2 for her kids and a yard and a dog. She wanted a dog and a garden. She had this dream, this beautiful dream. And she wanted to be out of the rat race and doing her own thing. And she didn't think it was at all possible. How could that be possible? I'm just living this life, trying to barely survive, trying to make ends meet. Well, lucky for her, she had a mentor who helped her really think things through and ask some really tough questions. And that her mentor, her coach, said, listen, what would you do What action would you take if you believed it was possible? And this matters to you because I want you to think about that too. You have this baby dream in front of you. What would you do if you thought it was actually possible? Put the how on hold, but what would you do right now? Well, Judy said, I guess I would go look for houses. So she started looking for houses, a step that she had never thought to take before. And then she came back and said, I found the house. It's perfect. It's got everything I want. The window over the sink, everything. I can really see us being there and happy, but the rent is twice what I'm paying now. I can't afford it. There's no way that's going to be in my budget. And again, she had people in her life who believed in her and a structure of support. And Judy was pushed to her limit and said, and was asked questions. Well, what would you do if you thought you could afford the rent? And a new idea came to Judy. She wrote a letter to the landlord and said, here's my dream. Here's why it matters to me. It matters to me that my kids have a great place to live and that I can spread out and that I'm working these jobs and I see that this house has some fixer up stuff and, I'm handy. Judy was lucky. She realized she's fully resourced. So she went ahead and said, I will do these jobs, fix it up for you if you allow me to rent it for what I'm paying right now. 2 weeks later, the landlord came back, a letter came back, and it started out, I don't know why I'm doing this, but there is something in your letter that really stood out and resonated. So, okay, I'm willing to give you a try. And they wrote up a contract and that she promised all the projects she would do and the rent that would be paid. And if she didn't do it, what would happen? And by the end of that next year, well, first of all, within 30 days, Judy was moving into her new home, the dream home, building that life in balance that she was starting to dream about. Well, by the end of that year, all the projects were done. She had all the support. She stayed in support. And the landlord was so happy with her that he ended up saying, you know what, I'm ready to retire. Would you like to purchase this home? And so she went ahead and did a land contract and then grew her business. Just all these things started to fall into place. And she was able to pay off that land contract. She was able to eventually quit those 2 jobs, and her sewing business, now that she had room to spread out in, really took off. And she's a happy entrepreneur, work-at-home mom, juggling the things, living the dream of her design. And it mattered to her because it mattered to her kids. And it mattered to the people she was helping, her clients. So, where does it matter to you? What does your dream mean to you? You must decide to take a step, to live into this, to play full out. And I already told you, I know you're a person who shows up. So keep showing up. Decide. If it's okay with you today to decide that this life is possible, this full spectrum life, go ahead and give a thumbs up. Do a yes in the chat. Because this is very important to take us to the next dream building principle. You're going to run into some challenges, right? So we want to befriend our fear. So we start out on our entrepreneurial journey. We start out with our dream building. And here we are. Yes. How many times have you felt that? Yes, I'm doing this thing. January 1st, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to start cleaning my house in a new way. I'm going to have my organization. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to, right? Yes. And then something happens. And we start to feel like this. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? This is kind of scary. Why? So we have both of these tugs and pulls inside of us. And the big question that happens to all of us, what if you fail? What if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't get the support that I need and my relationships fall apart and I spend too much time on the wrong thing and the marketing doesn't work and then my kids need picking up and I can't get to them in time, and we start to go down these rabbit holes. Notice our thoughts. Because when we were all little, we took steps, baby steps, and we fell down a lot. And then we'd pull ourselves back up. And then we fell down again. And how many of you today sit around because you never learn to walk? I'm pretty sure somewhere along the line you just fall down and say, well, that's it. I'm not meant to be a walker. Right? We all took steps, baby steps. You looked around and you said, oh, I want to be like that. And there's a part of you that's looking around right now and saying, I want that life. I want more like that and less like that. And right? So we got to befriend our fear. And notice this little baby. He has someone on his side. We all have to have support, which is why organizations like Grow matter, why the work that I do matters, why so many other places exist to support you on your journey. But that's very important because you're going to fall down and you're going to need help getting back up. So here's a secret most people don't realize. Great dream builders, great entrepreneurs, great change makers are willing to fail again and again and rise up again. Oprah Winfrey is a classic example. She was fired by the TV executives because she wasn't fit for TV. Can you imagine if Oprah believed that and listened to that? Where would we all be today? Might not have Meghan Markle being interviewed. What about Steven Spielberg? He was rejected from school, from film school. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Now, what is today? Today we happen to be presenting on May the 4th. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you know that Steven Spielberg and George Lucas worked really hard and well together and they had some play on their ideas together. Can you imagine what the world would look like if people gave up on their film dreams? We wouldn't have Star Wars memes like May the 4th. We wouldn't have E.T. like Steven Spielberg put together. We wouldn't have amazing cinematic experiences. Walt Disney, he was fired from his newspaper job, his first newspaper job, because he had no original ideas and he was lacking in imagination. These days, can you imagine without the world of Disney? Well, one of my favorite films, Frozen, would never exist. And that would be a tragedy. So fear and failure are actually prerequisites for achieving great dreams. And I applaud you for taking the willingness and the steps to get yourself to the point you're at now. You've had to fail. You've had to face fear. Remember at the beginning, we asked the question, have you ever faced a goal or a dream and then you didn't know how you'd achieve it and then you did? You are capable of far more than you know. So what do you do when fear rises up? Because you're looking at this dream life, this full spectrum life, and you're like, oh gosh, really love that relationship. I don't think that's possible. And all this fear rises up in you. Or maybe you're looking at your bank account and you're like, I don't know. Can I make $1 million this year? Or ever in my life? Here's your tip. Reconnect to your dream. Reconnect to your vision. Reconnect to your why. This is the number one tool you can use to override again and again and again when fear, doubt, worry rise up. And it's going to feel a little fake at first, but you're going to get better at it. And pretty soon, you're going to start to see things actually come to fruition. I believe that for you because I've seen it happen in my life. I've seen it happen into my friends' lives, my colleagues' lives, my clients. It's absolutely possible. So, what is one thing, not overwhelm, just one thing you can do today or this week to take action that will move you in the direction of that life you just designed? Write that down right now. The first thing that comes to mind is probably going to be a good idea. What is one thing? Maybe it's, I'm going to write a to-do list. Maybe it's, I'm going to look at my calendar and I'm going to carve out some space so that I'm not so busy. Maybe it is, I'm going to make that phone call I've been putting off. I don't know what it is for you, but what's one action you can take? And write that down. Remember, clarity is power. So, our friend reconnecting us to our why today, Simon Sinek says, vision is a destination. It's a fixed point to which we focus all our effort and we refocus. And then strategy is a route, an adaptable, notice that word adaptable, path to get us where we want to go. So we can focus on tactics, we can focus on strategy, we can focus on tips and tools and all these things, and Grow is great at providing that. But if you don't come with the vision, Grow can't help you. I can't help you, except that I can help you create a vision, which we're doing here today. So we can get you where you want. All your effort, not some of your effort, all of your effort. So what have we covered today? Because that was a lot, and it was a fast deep dive. We covered designing your dream and why it matters to you and how it reconnects you to your why. We've covered designing your dream so that you really understand what it is you would love, and that's going to help motivate you. And we talked about befriending your fear so that you can stay motivated and override the worry, the doubt, the things coming into your life that look like obstacles, but might actually be opportunity. So thank you for being with me to this point. And you've done such a great job. I promised, as I promised in the beginning, that if you wanted more, I would be happy to do something. Rosie and I talked about this. So we really feel it's valuable to understand how the entrepreneurial life can get out of balance and to keep you in balance, in harmony, in alignment. So I have a free gift of a one-on-one strategy call where you and I can talk and actually go through where your life assessment landed, what your dream is that you're developing, maybe develop it a little more, and then talk about some of those specific steps. Go through a brave thinking activation process to get you to have more ideas on what your next steps could be. So you're invited to go ahead, mylifemastery.youcanbook.me, and claim that free gift for yourself. It's a calendar. You just pick a time that works for you, and we'll get on the phone and we will chat. This is worth $250 when I charge it out, but I don't want to do that. You're a Grow participant. You are someone who is showing up to make great changes in this world, to be the person that has a full kaleidoscope life and makes an impact in the world. So mylifemastery.youcanbook.me and pick a time. I look forward to helping you a little bit more, because this is so important. Dream big, start small, but most of all, start. Nothing happens until you decide and take that step. So thank you very much for being here. And if you have questions, you can reach me here. You can go to my link for my calendar. It's all there on my website. And I am open to questions, comments, anything that has come up during our talk today.
Thank you so much, Alicia Marie. I did put your mylifemastery.youcanbook.me into the chat. So if it's easier for folks just to copy and paste that right out. As I mentioned, I will also send out the link to the recording of this. So for those of you who are joining us live, keep an eye on your inbox. It might not be this evening yet, but certainly in the next few days, we will get you some of these resources. But certainly take advantage of this fantastic opportunity that Alicia Marie is gifting us and gifting all of you. I'm certain that it'll be helpful. We've just been getting great feedback in the chat, Alicia Marie. So thank you. Thank you. This is such an eye opener, I think, for even for those of us who aren't so much in the entrepreneurial journey themselves, but some at the beginning, some in the middle, some at the end, wherever we fall on the spectrum. I think these questions that you bring up are just so valuable. I know you and I have talked many a times, and it's just always so encouraging to step away from our conversation. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for all of the participants. But if there's any questions, I think we'll just leave it open a few more minutes.
And thank you for that, Rosie. I appreciate that. One of the most valuable things anyone can do as we begin this process is to take the time, carve out the space to not just learn new information, but to actually take the time to listen about what's coming from within us and what's trying to seek its way through us. So I applaud everybody on this call for being here, doing that, for taking the time to journal it out and see where it takes you from here. And if you're on the replay, I applaud you because you're doing the same work and listening to that longing and discontent so you can really design a life that's, your business, but also all the other things that make life work. So thank you, Rosie, for that and all the feedback.
Absolutely. I think that'll do it for us for today. But again, encourage you, take advantage of Alicia Marie and all her wisdom and her time. And we'll hope to see you at our next Grow webinar.